You click this video on your commute to work today, you're living a truly intense and diligent life, aren't you? For lunch, you're burdened by the 10,000 won bill, so you probably grab a convenience store lunchbox or a triangle kimbap.
여기 뭐가
After
있을까?
work, you're probably exhausted, dragging your body to a side job or watching financial management videos to finish the day. You eat less, spend less, and save more diligently than others. But when you look at your bank account balance every night, don't you just sigh? Why does my life always seem to be stagnant? Am I less capable than others? Or is it my lack of willpower that keeps me from becoming wealthy? You lie in bed,
Ooh, a
kicking the
coin!
covers,
Score,
belittling
free
yourself.
money.
And then, in the morning, you start the day stressed, trying to save
got
even
in.
1,000
This is
or
it.
2,000 won.
Time to get the
It's
money
okay.
out!
It must have been frustrating
Oh, no,
and
it's-
exhausting, right? The reason you haven't become rich so far isn't
Hi
because
everyone,
you're
welcome.
lazy
I'm
or
excited to show you
weak-willed.
Slack.
Hi,
It's
what
not
is it?
because you
platform-
lack intelligence. But let me tell you a shocking fact. Your heartbreaking efforts to save and diligence, paradoxically, are destroying your brain and dragging you deeper into poverty. What nonsense is this? Now, I'll dissect the brutal truth,
love all my
the
hoodies.
unconscious destruction
Let's pick one
taking
for
place
today.
in your frontal lobe, as proven by Harvard University. If you watch until the
이거
end,
좀 이상해.
you'll understand why you might need to break into your savings account tomorrow morning. World-renowned behavioral economics experts Sendil Mullanasan of Harvard University and Eldar Shafir of Princeton University conducted an interesting experiment. They visited sugarcane farmers in India. These farmers receive their money only once a year during the harvest season. In other words, just before harvest, there is a state of extreme poverty, a state of deprivation. And immediately after, there is a state of abundance, a state of overflowing wealth. The research team measured the intelligence quotient, or IQ, of the same people when they were poor and when they were rich. The results shocked the psychology world. The farmers' IQs dropped a whopping 13 points just before harvest when they had no money, compared to immediately after. Do you have any idea what 13 IQ points is? This is the same as the brain fog of a normal person after a full night's sleep, or the brain of a chronic alcoholic. The mere sensation of deprivation, the lack of money in one's pocket, can instantly degrade the intelligence of a perfectly healthy person. Why does this terrible thing happen? Our brains operate with a very limited resource called cognitive bandwidth. In simple terms, your brain is like the latest smartphone, but heavy applications like poverty and money worries are running in the background, consuming 80% of your battery. With only 20% of your remaining battery, you need to write proposals at work, make important decisions, build relationships, and plan for the future. Of course, it's bound to stutter and grind to a halt. This phenomenon, where the brain is so consumed by a lack of capacity that it can't focus on anything else, is called tunnel vision in psychology. When you enter a dark tunnel, you only see the light at the exit, right? You can't see any beautiful scenery around you or any shortcuts along the way. A brain in a state of deprivation is no different. The pressure to immediately pay off your credit card bill and save 10,000 won causes your vision to become extremely narrow. As a result, you fail to recognize investment opportunities that could change your life in the long run, self-improvement efforts that could increase your value, or even the fact that your health is being damaged. Let's say you spent an hour wandering around 3 supermarkets to buy tofu that was 500 won cheaper. You might feel proud of yourself for being frugal. But from a neuroscience perspective, you're broke today. To save a mere 500 won, you wasted all your creativity and your cool-headed judgment, in other words, your cognitive bandwidth, which could create tens of millions of won in value. This is the paradox of scarcity. The more you try to save and struggle, the more your frontal lobe becomes paralyzed, and you end up repeating the worst choices that only lead to further poverty. But here's the real danger. Many people blame themselves for this scarcity. It's because I have weak willpower. I lack perseverance, so I waste time looking at shorts. No, willpower is a consumable resource that depletes with use. If you've spent all day fighting off a lack of energy, would you still have the energy to study English or read a book after work? Your brain seeks dopamine to survive. So mindlessly watching stimulating videos or enjoying a sweet late-night snack is just a defense mechanism to soothe your paralyzed brain. So how can we escape this terrible tunnel vision and reclaim our intelligence and our lives? I won't offer the obvious consolation of taking it easy. I'll prescribe 3 mind skills you should practice today. First, buy cognitive slack or free space with money. You need to cut out the little deficiencies that eat away at your cognitive bandwidth. If you're stressing out by worrying about lunch money every day, avoiding friends, and stressing because you're overly saving 500,000 won a month, then stop saving right now. Don't fool your brain in the name of preparing for the future. With that 500,000 won, instead of spending it on food, take a taxi to save energy and eat something delicious to reduce stress and free up brain capacity. Your 13 points of recovered intelligence will later be worth 5 million won, not 500,000 won. Second, automate all your small decisions. Worrying, "Can I really afford this?" every time you spend money is a major waste of your cognitive energy. Separate your living expense account completely and set up automatic transfers. The reason Steve Jobs wore the same black t-shirt every day was to conserve the brain energy spent on choosing clothes and focus on ideas that would change the world. Stop your brain from calculating what's lacking. Third, and most importantly, change your frame of mind. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, then exhale slowly for 7 seconds. This lowers cortisol levels and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And now, shift your focus from what I don't have to what I already have control over. You need to turn your head outside the tunnel. Instead of saying, "I don't have enough money to pay my credit card bill this month," you need to change the very sentence structure your brain perceives. Your brain scans reality based on your beliefs. If you focus on what you lack, everything in the world appears as a threat. But if you focus on what you have, everything in the world begins to appear as an opportunity. Remember, you are not incompetent. Your brain has simply been temporarily infected with the virus of lack, robbing it of its bandwidth. Look in the mirror today and say to yourself, "I am not a penny pincher, but a life maker. The master of my frontal lobe is not lack, but myself." The moment your brain is re-injected with the vaccine of leisure, your life will expand dazzlingly at a rate you never imagined. I hope today's psychological treatment broadens your limited perspective.